Hello and welcome to anybody who is arriving early here on our webinar today for your early arrivers. Just do a little pre-introduction. My name is Hugh Plappert. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Finish Line Planner. Finish Line Planner is a church growth management tool, and we'll go in details about that later. One of the services that we offer at Finish Line Planner is monthly webinars. And we have two types of webinars. One where we show you a church growth plan that's part of Finish Line Planner, and how your church can use it. And the other webinar is we have a roundtable of guests of experienced ministers and various church growth topics who answer your questions. In today's broadcast is a model plan from Finish Line Planner called the 7x7 Journey. And this one's really, really exciting because I'm not only sharing with you concepts, but we got reports of right now things happening with the 7x7 plan in one of our beta churches. And that makes it even all the more exciting to see real numbers, real action, how it's happening, and what it is doing. So we've got a couple minutes here to wait while we'll start here at 7:30 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. Looks like we've already got a pretty good crowd on of people joining us. There is the comment and question bar on the side where you can have comments and questions and send those in to us, and we can answer any questions that anybody has. And we're really excited. We got people from all over the United States, various denominations. I can say it now. Denominations are joining us tonight. And we're glad to have all of you on board with this 7x7 Journey plan. There's actually a magazine doing a write-up on this plan as we speak, and word's getting out. But the exciting thing is the souls being reached, real people being reached, and lives being changed with the 7x7 plan. All right, we've got another minute yet before we go live and start with the actual webinar. But do feel free to use the comments section. We've got somebody from Buckeye Country, Texas, Ontario, joining us. And we have Andrew and joining us. And everybody is welcomed that is here. We appreciate having you on board. Okay, we'll give another minute here and we will get started. All right. Keeping the clock there so that everybody who registered will get the most out of their registration. All right, looks like we have 16 people and growing. Okay, it is 7:30, so we will get started. For start, first of all, we want to make sure that everybody can see the screen. So you should see a roadway that says Finish Line Planner, the 7x7 Journey from Relationships to Revival. So if you can, in the comments, let me know that you see the video fine. Also, let me know that you hear me. I want to make sure the audio is working as well. So from the comment bar on the side, if somebody would clarify that you're hearing us fine and you're seeing the slide fine. Okay. All right, let's see here. So we got fine from Wilson, Jonathan, that's good. David, thank you. All right, so we will get started. Okay, so welcome to the webinar From Relationships to Revival, the 7x7 Journey. Start off, I want to let you know I'm not a one-man show. I know I'm the front man. We do have a team behind us at Finish Line Planner. Brother Dan Kyle from West Palm Beach, Florida, Gary Ellis Sr. from Clarksville, Tennessee, Carlton Kuhn Sr. from Springfield, Missouri, Dr. Eugene Wilson from Katy, Texas, Thomas Guyon from Clinton, Illinois, Jeff Jaco from Newcastle, Indiana, Calvin Jean from Salem, Illinois, Tim Massengale from Indianapolis, Indiana, myself from St. Paul, Minnesota, Mike Morrison from Henry, Illinois, Rob McKee from Katy, Texas, and Phil DePriest from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, plus others. Our team seems to be growing every month of those that are working with us and helping us put together these church growth resources for you. Thank you for joining our webinar on the 7x7 journey. We want to make a special offer for you. Thank you for joining us tonight and for your time. We're going to give you a bonus that we'll be offering at the end of this webinar if you'll stay with us. We're going to offer you our church growth planning tool. We're going to give you a 50% lifetime discount. The regular price for Finish Line Planner is $360 a year. Now, this will help you to be more confident, more consistent in the work that you do in organizing church growth projects. Anything from, of course, the 7x7 plan, to direct mail, to Vacation Bible School, to prayer programs, to following up with visitors, convert discipleship, annual planning. There's a lot of tools that we have to help you. So Finish Line Planner is a subscription, and it goes for $360 a year. What that is, that's equivalent to 6 cups of coffee per month. So a very reasonable price for a tool that's going to help you lead your church towards revival. But our offer tonight, the lifetime 50% discount, will only cost you 3 cups of coffee per month. We realize that you need to keep your coffee to have that jolt in the morning as you take on the responsibilities of leading your church. So we want to give you back 3 cups of your coffee. So it's only a subscription of $180 a year, which is $15 a month, equivalent to 3 cups of coffee. But we'll give you more details of that later in the webinar. So stay tuned, and we do appreciate you for joining us today. So let's get started. What's really unique about the 7x7 plan in this particular webinar is we're not just talking theories or mechanics or stuff. We're talking about an event that is happening right now in our beta church. We have a beta church that is using 7x7, and just in the first 2 months, just amazing results. One of those results is the church only runs about 70 to 75. They have had over 25 new visitors. And so in 2 months, if you statistically stretch it out to 12 months, that's actually a 300% increase in attendance. So they have the potential of 225 in 12 months in their church. So that is really exciting, and there's no gimmicks or tricks to the 7x7 plan, as you'll see here in a little bit. The plan that's in our beta church, the young people saw what was happening, and so they got really excited, and they wanted to do their own version of 7x7 in their youth group. The youth group consists of about 11 young people, so they did it on a Sunday morning where they did their kickoff. They had 2 visitors. The 11 young people and their 2 visitors together came up with 100 names of their friends that they wanted to put through the 7x7 program and invite to church. So even the visitors wanted to invite their friends to come to church. So with young people reaching 100 friends, that's huge, huge potential there for a revival. Now, another reason the youth got excited is they were hosting an event on Saturday, and at that event, 25 7x7 folks showed up, okay? And they typically, at their fundraiser, raise about $300. But with the additional 25 7x7 folks there at the fundraiser, instead of raising $300, they raised $1,100. So it even had a side effect of a financial benefit. One of the saints in the church, you might consider them kind of an inactive person or a pew warmer. You wouldn't expect too much out of them. And they had 7 names of people that they were trying to reach, and they were praying about those names, and they were really nervous on the next step of reaching out and contacting their friends. So while they're praying, the phone rings, and one of those 7x7 friends calls and says, "I'm going through a trauma. I would like to ask you to pray for me." And this saint was able to say, "I've already been praying for you." That person came to church the next Sunday and received the gift of the Holy Ghost the following Sunday. Well, the fruit of that was that pew warmer got excited and said, wow, this is really good what God's doing, and God is using me, and God's working through me. So I want to go to my neighborhood, and within 2 blocks of my house, I'm going to invite everybody to church. So she did that. The next Sunday, there were 2 brand new families from her neighborhood in church. So this program is authentic. It's inviting real people for real reasons to a real church service. But it really engages your members and gives them that confidence and excitement to go out and to invite their friends to church. So what is the 7x7 program? It's actually a postcard, and this is one side of the postcard as you see here on the screen. And you have a consecration service, and at that consecration service, you're going to ask your saints to write down 7 names that God is laying on their heart. If you can see in the fine print there in the light blue, 7 white boxes, is recommendations, but you don't have to go by the recommendations. It's the 7 names that God has laid on their heart. So the recommendations here is a family member, a neighbor, a co-worker, a friend, your kids' classmates' family, a service provider that you use in your community, or contacting an old classmate of your own. So those are 7 recommendations. On the left side of the postcard, there's a white box there for the saint to put their name. Reason for that is, as a pastor, you would want to take a picture of this postcard. And so you can pray for those 7 folks and pray for that person reaching those 7 folks. It also gives them accountability. And you can take that picture with your cell phone, or you can run it through a copy machine. So you have a list of all these names. I talked about the youth group and their 100 names. What they did is they wrote the 100 names on the blackboard in their classroom. So every time they have Sunday school, they can pray for those 100 names. So this is one side of this one side of the 7x7. The other 7 on the other side of the card is the 7 steps of building relationships. So the concept here is those 7 names that they wrote down. They want to take time and go through 7 steps before inviting them to church. The first step being, as we talked about, praying that God will lay those names on your heart. That happens at the consecration service at kickoff. Number 2, you don't want to just only pray for their soul. You want to pray for their needs. So if you know that they have a need, and if you don't, you can find out what kind of needs they might have. You want to pray for that because you want them to experience a miracle. Okay? They don't have to come to church to experience a miracle. When they know that you're praying for their situation and God intervenes, what a testimony. Okay? They have their own testimony. And that's a great motivation for them to come to church and give their life to God. Step 3 is you want to learn about them, about their family, their common interests, and ask any way that you can assist. Step 4 is offer to meet a need and to be of assistance. Help them with a chore, help them with a repair, help them find a job, cook a meal for them, whatever their need is, that you can step in and you can meet a need with them. Step number 5 is to celebrate a special day with them and to share a meal. So you can make that possibly 2 steps. Remember their birthday or celebrate the 4th of July with them, okay? And I'm the kind of person, I believe you should never teach anybody a Bible study unless you've had them over to your house for a meal first. And that's very important in establishing a good relationship and friendship, is sharing a meal. Step number 6 is you want to ask them about their life story, history, values, and faith. You really want to try to understand their heartbeat. Excuse me. And this is extremely, extremely key. Have an interest in who they are. And then step number 7 is to share your testimony on how you found God and share what God can do for them. Encourage them to ask questions, and then ask them for a Bible study or to join you in a home fellowship group or to invite them in church. Now, this is not the perfect plan, okay? As for instance, the young lady whose friend called was in the middle of a trauma while she was praying. By that next Sunday, she was in church, okay? But this is the focus. This is the direction we want people to take. And God can intervene at any of these steps and touch somebody's life. But this is something that everybody can do. So what are the challenges that the 7x7 program is addressing? What are we trying to fix, you might say? We live in a world that lacks healthy social skills. We're so much stuck on social sites that have nothing to do with being social. And we are a very scared society. It's always in the news, somebody's shooting, somebody trust was broken with somebody else, and you can't trust anybody, and you always want to lock the car. And so we've kind of become antisocial. And what we're encouraging your saints to do is to take small steps to being social. And when they do that, God can move with the prayer and work through them. Now, it seems to, I've been with the Apostolic Bible Institute for 34 years, and every year it seems like somebody's pulling a new rabbit out of the hat, some kind of a new community outreach way to trick people into attending church. The 7x7 program, there is no contest, there is no prizes, there's no jumping houses. It's an authentic invite to church. And so this is not a trick program. If you're looking for a trick program, this is helping people really doing everyday evangelism and being encouraged and helped and engaged in doing that. The Relationships to Revival 7x7 Journey is an invest and invite program. So you invest in people, then you invite them. That guides your members in the relationships towards an authentic invite to a home fellowship group, a Bible study, or a church event. So what's the benefits of the 7x7 program? Well, it's going to increase the number of visitors. Now, 7x7 program is very focused on visitors, but that's, as you know, not the end game. The end game is getting people to be discipled and to be everyday Christians and to grow in Christ. We're only working at the point of getting people high quality, authentic invite into church, and then to move on from there to your next programs. So we're increasing visitors. This engages a whole church in evangelism year-round. Everybody can be a part of the 7x7 program. It builds expectations for a great revival. The youth had a little experience, and they said, let's go out and do it. And they're talking about adding 100 more souls to the list. And so it builds this excitement and expectations. It develops the saints' confidence in personal evangelism. The quote-unquote pew warmer who had that one person come in and receive the Holy Ghost, she exploded and she went out and invited everybody within 2 blocks of her house to church and got 2 more families. So it builds up their confidence. It eliminates busy work, and it focuses on small, powerful steps that matter. Okay? We're not doing something super fancy here. It's very practical and very applicable and useful. Leverages team accountability and participation, and we'll explain a little more on that. Anybody who tries to skip out of your 7x7 program will be the odd person out, but in a very kind way. So it really encourages everybody to be accountable and to participate. And it's executed with minimal costs, but yet maximum results. That's what the 7x7 program is. Let's take a minute and see what kind of questions may be coming up. Okay, we're getting a lot of people online here. Thanks, Brent, Jamie, Jack, Barry, Ben, Nate, Thomas. And do please, put your questions in the comments, and we will stop once in a while to take a look here and see if we can answer all of your questions. And if we don't get your questions answered during this presentation, I will contact you by email afterwards and answer your questions. Okay, so to execute the 7x7 program, I want to show you 9 steps to success, and we're going to throw in an extra bonus step here for you. Okay, the first one is that consecration service. The 7x7 program should be taken pretty serious and elevated as a serious program. Have a kickoff service, a consecration service, preach consecration, sing consecration, have prayer time before people fill out the 7 names. As much I like things to be mechanic and systematic, this is a God thing, and God needs to be in it from the beginning. And all the saints need to recognize this is a very important thing to do to reach their friends and neighbors. Okay, you want to pray for the 7x7. Now, what I mean by this is every church service you have, like when you take a prayer request and you're praying for those prayer requests, ask everybody to hold up their 7x7 card and to pray for the 7 people on their card. Encourage them to put in their Bible and to bring it to church. This is where you increase responsibility, accountability, and participation, because if somebody's not holding up their 7x7 card, they're going to feel a little bit guilty. And you always have extra 7x7 cards in the vestibule or on the altar where people can pick them up and refill them out, or if they never got one originally from the consecration service, they can get one. But when they see everybody else holding their cards up and praying for them, they will want to have their card too. This also keeps it in front of them at all times. They're always thinking about the next step they need to do with those 7. Okay, if you just do the card and you put it away, the program will die really quick. So to keep from having a false start, you want to pray. Now, I know in our beta church, the pastor there actually prays for them at the end of the service. Everybody's hold them up and prays for them at the end of the service, at the end of the altar call. You can do that way too. Also, when the pastor takes the pictures on the cell phone of the cards or runs them through a photocopier so he can pray for them, that builds accountability as well. And yet nobody's embarrassed, but yet you're also encouraging them to not be the odd person out, to stay and stick with the program. So the last step of the 7 relationship building steps is sharing their testimonies. And people have sometimes even kind of subconsciously forgotten their testimony. And so you want them to practice it. And so a good way to have people practice their testimony is maybe take 2 or 3 every service and have them come up and do their testimony from the pulpit, have them write it down, and get comfortable sharing their testimony. Also, by sharing their testimony in church with their peers, it really opens up a lot of appreciation. I know in my church, I've been there for 34 years. I know most people, and I know their background. And I can just look around the church and just really appreciate what God has done in all these different lives and how he's brought them all together, and it builds some unity. So in addition to them getting the practice of speech, of doing their testimony and thinking it through, and then practicing it in front of everybody, it also builds appreciation and unity among the saints. And then you can role play the 7 steps. So you can have 2 or 3 people put together a small skit and do that one service, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, do step number 2. 2 or 3 weeks later, do step number 3. Role play really helps a lot of people to think through how they're going to execute those steps. Asking them to do it's one thing, but then showing them how to do it's another. And so in a role play, you can give a scenario where somebody says, well, I'm too busy to come over, or you can role play, where have you been for the last 10 years, or things like that, things they may encounter, and show how to work through that. And that role playing will double the potential of what people can do, and them to follow through with it by doing those little skits 2 or 3 weeks apart over time, to encourage them to move on to the next step with their 7 friends. Then pastors, a weekly follow-up call. Now, if you got 50 people in your church, there's no way you're going to call 50 people. If you can call 2 or 3 a week, and when you call them, of course, you've already got a copy of their 7 names in their card. You want to call them and ask them about those 7 folks. How are they doing? What steps are they on? And hear if there's any hesitation, uncertainty, lack of confidence, and encourage that saint. Okay, maybe you want to invite them this way, or maybe do it on this day. Try to help them think through the challenge that they're having and working with their 7 people and their personalities and stuff. is going to break through walls and issues that's been holding back for years, when you can coach them along the way. Okay, so you don't have to call everybody every week, but call a few each week and help them over the blocks that they have to move forward with their steps. Okay, you want to share the excitement. So, somebody coming in church and becoming a Christian, that's very exciting. You want to share that. But you also want to share the person praying and their friend calls and asks them to pray, and they've already been praying for them. You want to share, oh, so-and-so went out to dinner and they had a good time. You want to share testimonials of steps, making progress. And again, that's helping to build the confidence, and it's a little bit of peer pressure. And people then will step up and say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. If God helped them, God can help me. And working through those 7 steps. And then you want to record success stories, videotape, cell phones, we've got them, record them, keep your library. You will pull these out later to put together videos to encourage people what they can do when they hear the testimonies of the success stories that have happened during this program. And this will help kick off and give energy and power into your next program. Don't miss this opportunity to record the stories. And then you want to host 7x7 events. A 7x7 event is an event you can announce to the church, hey, this is a visitor-focused event. Now, the event can be a community outreach type event, but more likely it should be a soul-saving event, a regular church service. But that church service needs to be addressed to visitors. You need to preach to visitors who don't understand the Bible. You don't assume that they understand the Bible. They don't understand Christian concepts and words. And so you don't use those in your sermon. You use real simple songs that make sense to them. And you make them feel very welcome, and you give them welcome packets, and you have good greeters, and you go all the way out for the visitors. And so you can announce 2 or 3 of your services during the year are 7x7 events. These are events that you can invite your 7 friends to, and it'd be a great foot in the door for them coming to church. Okay, and of course, Finish Line Planner has all these steps, the plans, the dates figured out for you in our pre-built model plans in Finish Line Planner, so we can help you organize your staff and executing this plan with Finish Line Planner. We'll go more over that later. And now for the 10th and bonus step. You may have some people that maybe are socially backwards. They may be mentally challenged. You wouldn't expect them to execute, be part of the 7x7 program. Put them with a partner. Help them share 7 names. Let them be a part. And that partner you put them with, of course, needs to support them and include them on cooking the meal, have them there for dinner, have them pray with their friend when they bring them to church. Include them, because everybody can do something. Everybody can be a part. So if they can't even do their own 7, if you have a shut-in, include them with a partner, and that shut-in can pray. Okay, everybody needs to be a part of the 7x7 program and realize that they are important to this program. So that's your 10th bonus success step. Okay, let's check for questions real quick. Okay, what's the best way to get the people motivated to participate? Well, the prayer. When everybody's holding up a 7x7 card praying for the 7 people, and they don't have one holding up, that's one way. Then number 2, of course, on the weekly calls, when you call that person, you can find out what their hesitations are and kind of help them to overcome the hesitations. If it's a situation where it's a mental challenge or a shut-in person, we went over that. You include them. Okay, we have a question here on how do you hold people accountable to the follow-up calls. Okay, I'm not quite sure what you meant by the follow-up calls, but there should be a tone in all your promotions in dealing with people, and that isn't that they're not doing or they're not participating, and if they're a Christian, they should be reaching the world. Your tone should be, how can I help you? I really believe you're capable. I think God's got something special for you. It needs to be a step forward, not a step backward. So be very, very positive. Okay, this is kind of a comment. The pastor makes the calls to the workers, I believe. Okay, so I think you're trying to answer the question there for me. Right, so the pastor calls the people who've signed up the 7 friends. They don't call the 7 individuals. They call the person responsible for the 7 individuals. And you ask them, so if I signed up and I had Bob, Sue, and Mark of part of 3 of my 7, pastor would call me and say, well, how's it going with Bob? I said, well, I haven't had a chance to talk to him. Well, how do you know Bob? Well, I work with Bob. Well, have you thought about taking Bob out to lunch at work and buying him a hamburger? Well, no, I haven't. Okay, why don't you give that a try? Just enjoy your lunch with him. Don't be too forward and just be a friend. So the pastor is calling me to help me understand how I can reach out to Bob, how I can reach out to Sue, how I can reach out to Mark, and encouraging and believing in them and such. Okay, we'll move forward and we'll come back to some more questions here in a bit. So our recommendations. We do recommend Finish Line Planner. It has a pre-built plan that will guide you and your church through successful execution of the 7x7 journey. And we'll explain how that works here in a little bit. But the number one hindrance in church growth is personal and team productivity. How can more be accomplished in less time? Everyone loves and desires to share the gospel. But organizing simple steps in an orderly process and communicating through convenient and non-invasive means, you can see significant results. Okay, and so we want to look for a way to be productive, not weigh down the ministry, not weigh down your saints when we execute a program like this. Also, a Finish Line Planner, you can customize your plans to meet the needs of your ministry, church, and community. So we're going to give you a plan, a 7x7 plan, and some of these steps you'll say don't apply in your situation, or you may want to apply it in a different way. In the Finish Line Plan, or the plan that we built for you, is just a skeleton. You can take away steps and add steps and make it your own unique plan. The original 7x7 plan that I developed actually comes from Adopt a 7 plan from another church. And we enhanced a lot from it, but just the basic core postcard concept came from another church, and we've added on to that to help it be a successful program. The other church was actually using it more for a building fund program, but we're using it for evangelism. And also with Finish Line Planner, your members are going to receive text messages to remind them of their responsibilities, and then they can text back the status update. There's no software to install, so it keeps everybody moving and on board. And then the pastor, you'll just have a one-panel clipboard, it's color-coded, that lets you know what's been completed, what's in progress, what's being delayed, and if there's any issues. So you don't have to go around chasing people, wondering how the program is being executed or not being executed. And save time and improve the quality of the execution of the 7x7 plan. Finish Line Planner, we'll explain here in our next steps. Before we do that, let's just go double check the questions. All right, no more questions at this time, so we'll move forward. So Finish Line Planner is a project management system. We're going to explain how that works in your church. There are 3 components of church growth. There is the spiritual product, and pastor, that's your responsibility along with God, so you pray a lot. And there's the culture. Every church has a unique culture. And then there's systems to make sure that the bills are being paid and the money's being deposited in the bank and the ushers are there, and there's music programs and there's outreach programs and there's youth programs. There's systems. In Finish Line Planner, we help you address the systems component, okay? We are not the magical tool to church growth. We are just helping you manage efficiently and effectively those systems. You as a pastor have to follow through with the spiritual product and the culture. Okay, so you want to have the right time, the right person doing the right task. and who and what. And this is what Finish Line Planner plans. Who's going to do it, what are they going to do, and when they're going to do it. As pastor, we could rename your job as the Chief Reminding Officer. And with Finish Line Planner, we try to help you keep your members focused so they don't get distracted. They know what they need to do and focus on those few things that they need to do to help you. We make your members important. When you ask them to do something and they receive a text to do something and they know that you're going to ask them the status of what they're doing, there is a level of importance that they receive from that. And you also need to maintain interdependency as a top priority. So everybody needs to work together and everybody does their part and they do it on the right time. It helps with that interdependency and unity. And you kill giants with stones, not boulders. When David went for Goliath, he didn't go out and get a 2,000-pound boulder and throw it at Goliath. He threw a stone. And in the Finish Line Planner, when you set up your steps of who's going to do what when and asking people to do their parts, you're all asking them for a stone. But amazing, those pile of stones get pretty big and fruitful results come about because everybody's participating. So Finish Line Planner helps you with your end-to-end church growth cycle. Help you with contacts and relationships, as we're talking about with the 7-7 program. We help you organize your special events. We help you with visitor follow-up. We help you with discipling converts. We help you organizing volunteers, and we help you developing leaders in your annual plan. So we help you with this whole cycle today. We're just talking about the relationship component, but Finish Line Planner is an all-in-one tool, and you get all of these plans with Finish Line Planner. What makes Finish Line Planner productive and helping you? Number one, we have a library. So we have a library of pre-built plans. Those are not fixed plans because you can take away, you can add, you can customize the plan for how you do church growth your way, because your church, your community, and your ministry is unique. So you get to customize those plans. And then once you have a plan, you can reuse it. So once you figured out your visitors follow-up plan, again and again, you can just recall it. Finish Line Planner will figure out the dates and we'll figure out who needs to do what when. And it does that by role. So if Bob was your Sunday school director last year, but Sam's your Sunday school director this year, Sam will get those tasks assigned to him this year. And then our Apples app, that is the text messaging program for your volunteers. There's no software for them installed. They get their notices through texting and they text back their status update. They never have to log into Finish Line Planner. And then the clipboard, that is where you as a pastor will see the color codes and see if things are progressing, if there's issues. And quickly, within a few minutes, you will know that all your church growth projects are working or they're not, and you can address those issues that arise in a timely manner. Okay, as we promised, we're going to start our webinar bonus. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a red sign up button. If you click on that sign up button, you can take advantage of this offer today. All right, so we're offering our planning tool, Finish Line Planner, which we're going to demo the details of exactly how that will work for you. This will be a lifetime discount of 50%. Typically, Finish Line Planner is a subscription that goes for $360 a year, which is equivalent to only 6 cups of coffee a month. Very, very reasonable. But we're going to cut that in half. Not only are we going to cut it in half, but it will only be $180 or 3 cups of coffee a month from now on for your lifetime. We'll never go above $180. If for some reason we lower our price, you'll get the lower price, but you'll never have to pay the $360. It's only 3 cups of coffee a month to win additional souls on top of what you're doing now in your church for an eternity. The payback on this is huge. Just if one soul comes into your church and pays tithes, okay, the average tithe payer that pay tithes is $5,000 a year, and you're talking 180. So the business formula on this is clear. It's very, very, very affordable, and very impactful. So we believe that we can help you be consistent, more reliable, save you time, lift some of the burden in church growth, help you manage your whole church growth cycle with, of course, programs like 7x7 to VBS to prayer programs to direct mail, visitor follow-up, convert discipleship management, all kinds of things that you can do with Finish Line Planner. So click on the sign up red button anytime and make sure you sign up tonight to take advantage of that $180 offer for a lifetime. And this will not be a offer that will go on forever. We will be raising the price back to $360 soon, so make sure you take advantage of it tonight. Just want to show you what to expect when you sign up for Finish Line Planner and you click on that red sign up button. If you are on a PC, a Mac, a desktop, the screen on the left side of your screen is what you'll see. It could be mostly a blank screen with the sign up form on the right. There's the yellow sign up and start here today button. That's the one that you would click to sign up. Now, it does require your credit card. So you fill out this form, you hit that sign up button, and then you put in your credit card information to get that 50% lifetime discount for Finish Line Planner. If you're using a cell phone, your screen will look a little more like the one on the right, as you see here. So you'll see that sign up form. It's a little off-centered. Apologize for that. That's the way our website is working currently. Hopefully we can get that corrected in the future, but that's the form that you'd use. You fill that out and you click on that sign up button, then it'll bring up the credit card form. You fill out that information, and that will get you started with your login, your password, and your account for your church. Now, if you already have a Finish Line Planner account or have had one in the past, do not sign up for another account, okay? What you want to do is you want just to log in. And if you forgot your password on the login screen, there is a forgot password option that you can click on and reset your password. So don't sign up your church twice and get billed twice, all right? You want the $180 offer. You don't want to pay $360. You only want to sign up once. So if you already signed up, log in. Reset your password if you need to. If you're brand new to Finish Line Planner, this is how you sign up on this screen when you press that red sign up button. So everybody should see, as recommended by author Carlton Kuhn Sr. with the post-it note. Let's see if anybody has any questions about that. Okay, so we're good to move forward with our demo. Okay, I'm going to log in with my test account. Okay, when you first log into Finish Line Planner, your screen's going to look more like this. And this is for your team members. And when you first start, just start with 1 or 2 team members. Don't bring on the whole church. And so you get a little comfortable with it, then you can add more members on. But we're going to go to our models section here. And there's 2 sections. There is my models and the model library. And I'll clear my models out for now. So we start with no models under my models. Below the model library, these are the plans that ministers have built for us to help you. Anything from using their Bible reading for a fundraiser. Here's the 7x7 campaign, annual planning retreats, basic to-do lists, follow-up programs here by Brother Dan Kyle, community outreach, church picnic, job descriptions, Bible study ministries by Tim Massengale and Total Church Growth. We have coffee, hospitality ministries by Church Coffee, the new convert follow-up plan by Carlton Kuhn. All these are up and ready for you to go. So what you do when you go through the model library and you find something you like, first of all, in the 7x7 campaign, when you click on this little PDF link here, this is going to bring up our guide sheet. And I hope that you can see that. It's being shared. And then at the bottom, there's this download sample 7x7 card. And when you click on that, that gives you the PDF for printing out the 7x7 card. Okay, so that's where you get that from, is by clicking on that PDF there will give you those materials. But I want to add this to my models. This is a plan that I'm very interested in, so I'm going to add it. Then up here under my models, there it is, the 7x7 campaign model. All right, now nothing's happened. You can't see the plan, you can't see the steps. All we've done is we've added the 7x7 to the list under my models. To use this, I will go to plans. I'll add a plan. One of the choices I have when adding a plan is to choose a model. Notice I only have one model on this dropdown because I only have one model in my model section. If I had every model that ever will be in the model library, that list would be super long. And so what you're doing by adding it to my models is you're controlling the few models that you're interested in and not dirtying up your screen. So that's the 7x7 model. Okay, so I want to give it a name. So I'm going to name it the My Church 7x7 2017. Then I'm going to give it a date. The date I want to give is the kickoff date when I want to host that consecration service. So let's say I want to do that April the 30th. And then I'll click Create. Okay, so here is the plan. The plan here is divided up into 5 sections. There is a planning section that we see here with 5 steps. And the 5 steps are to review the 7x7 program contents, build the 7x7 team, prepare the 7x7 calendar, evaluate the 7x7 postcard design, because you may want to design it a little different than mine, and introduce your team, your leadership team, to the 7x7 program. Okay, so I'm going to click on the next section, prepare. There's a lot of steps here to prepare. Promotional materials, printing in the bulletin, making announcements multiple times, and making sure everybody's ready, prepare a sermon, prepare the postcards. There's a lot to do here to prepare for your kickoff. Then I'll go to perform services. And here we're doing some of the role plays. And notice the dates, we're scheduling them out every so often that we're doing the role plays. And following through with performing. And then the program follow-up. This is where you're reminding people to pray, you're organizing testimonies, success stories throughout the year. And there's a year's worth of those success steps to do here. And they're all scheduled out. And then the probe. This is the kind of the end of year follow-up. You want to do a postmortem with the team, and you want to record your success stories. All right, so all the steps are here. And what you want to do is assign these steps. So here's some different team members. And I just got some random test stuff here that we'll just randomly do. Now notice when I assign somebody to a step, it turns white. So I've answered the who, what, and when. If I answer those 3 questions, the icon turns white, the box turns white, and it tells me that now this thing is scheduled and ready. Okay? And so that's what I would do for the rest of these. Now, if you want to, you can delete a step by hitting that X there and tell it to delete. And if you want to do a new step, depending on which bucket you're in, the current bucket you're in, you can put in new step, and that creates the new step right here. And I can assign and can date that new step. So this way I'm able to customize my plan. Now, if I go to the clipboard, here are things that need to be done. Okay. And this little dot across the bottom will represent the percentage. So if this person's 25%, they can move the dot over. So it's in 25% increments, 0, 25, 50, 75, or 100. If you go to 100, you can mark it finished, it disappears. I can go 50% and say, you know what, I got an issue. I can make it blocked. Okay, and it turns red. Now, I can add notes here, and I can use Dropbox and attach documents. So we can do some collaboration. And so if I were to block this, I'd probably need to have a note saying, sorry, I was sick that day. And when I click back on there, I can see there's the note. All right. So as a pastor, I can see this one's in progress. I can go to recent work here. I can see that this was finished. This has an issue. That's in progress, and these others have not been started. Just real quick, looking at the colors there. Let's just take a quick minute and check on questions. See if we have any questions coming in. All right, let's see here. Okay, Thomas, well, we will help you with your problem down there. You can have more than one account per church, but each account will be $180 a year. The reason you'd have more than one account, you may want the youth department, Sunday school department to have their own plans so that they don't, never mess up the screen here a little bit, so that they don't, excuse me, here we are. Hang on. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's see here. This is what I meant to do. Sorry. So one plan, or one account per church. So the youth department, Sunday school department, ladies auxiliary. If you're in a larger church, you would want them to have separate accounts. If you're in a smaller church, you could share the same account. Okay. But if you're in a larger church, your clipboard, as you can see here, these icons are rather large. That can get really dizzy, even though there is a filter feature, and you can filter them down. Also, there's two levels of security. There's manager, member. And so the youth department can be manager over the youth department stuff, but not manager over Sunday school by having separate accounts. So that's why you would have those accounts. Okay. Your Brother Thompson will follow up with you. Can you change your old account to a new church? We can work with you on that. That would be a little tricky because we're changing the church name, but we can do that for you. The team model. So you can have multiple people be managers. Okay, so if like you have an administrative person, the pastor, you could be managers and everybody else be members. So you can have more than one administrator. And with those notes and with the collaboration of documents, it's very team centric and for sharing information back and forth. Okay, so we want to switch our screens again. Give me a second here, and we want to show you how that texting Apples app works. Okay, so here's the clipboard, and there are 3 tasks here: introduce to marriage ministry, meet the family, and initial call. So here's a person's cell phone, and in the morning, they receive a text. Now, as a organization or as a church, you get to set the time that that text goes out in the morning. And so if 9 o'clock is more convenient than 6 a.m., that's up to your church. But what's happened when we receive this text, if you notice, the introduce to marriage ministries is number 1 in the text. Meet the families, number 2. This happens to be the Dan Kyle follow-up program here. And then the initial call is number 3. So on the day that those texts are due, and this is January the 30th here, this person received the text of the 3 things that they are supposed to do. Okay, so now that they've got those texts, when they get a chance through the day, because they're a volunteer and they're busy, they're at work or wherever, when they get a chance, they will reply back. In this case, they're replying back 2 is 100. Well, if we go back and look here, 2 was meet the family. So that particular task is done. Remember the little dot sliding bar across the bottom? 2 is 100. 3 is 50. So we go back and look. 3 is the initial call. So they probably called and left a message. Okay, so it's 50%. Notice when they do these commands, they never show a percent sign or type in a percent sign. It's a number. So 2 is 100 means that task number 2 is 100% complete. 3 is 50. It means task number 3 is 50% complete. Okay. What's happening is the text back 2 is 100. It moved the text or the task to the recent work tab. It turned to green and it disappeared because it's done. 3 is 50. Move the little process dot there to the 50% and put the task into yellow, which means it's in progress. So that's being remotely controlled through texting from the user. This is an appless app. There's no software to install. As you saw how easy it is to train, I did it with 3 slides. This is all you're asking your volunteers to do. And if they do that, that's a huge communication improvement, and it saves the pastor a ton of time and understanding where things are at. He can look at the clipboard, look at the colors, and know how things are progressing. Okay, let's just take another quick look at the questions. See what questions might be coming in. All right, Brother Becker, we look forward to hearing from you afterwards. Thanks for calling in. So benefits of Finish Line Planner. It's an all-in-one tool. It helps build relationships like the 7x7. You can organize community outreach. You can do planning special events. You do your visitor follow-up. As you saw in the little texting example, that was Brother Dan Kyle's follow-up program that we have. Convert discipleship with Brother Carlton Coon's discipleship program. Leadership development and annual planning. So when you buy Finish Line Planner, you're getting all those tools and more tools are coming. The Insights to Facebook Revival will be a new plan added to Finish Line Planner. This summer, we're going to do the United States Postal System's door-to-door program and how you can leverage that for very little cost and get very positive results in your community with new souls and new Bible studies. In the fall, we're going to be looking at the Prayer Bouquet and the Prayer Wall, 2 prayer programs. The Prayer Wall program brought about the largest revival we ever saw at the Apostolic Bible Institute, with over 60 souls saved from a prayer program. That will be Finish Line Planner. This number of tools in Finish Line Planner is always growing, and as it grows, your price stays the same. So we got plans that are built by Brother Carlton Coon, Dan Kyle, Tim Massengale, and others. And we have many ministers joining us in the future. They'll be adding more and more plans to Finish Line Planner for you to use. So you're receiving from them their insights and how they execute things and how they've seen things succeed. And yet, we're not copycatting other people because you customize your plan. Your church, your ministry, your community is unique. You have a centralized communication system. No more aisle meetings. No more chasing people around after church to find out where things are at. You have full accountability in minimizing surprises. You know, so people can get used to doing that status update, texting you back. It's real simple. Let you know how things are progressing, and you can follow up with things that may be dragging or having issues, and minimize the people that you need to talk to. Less busy work, more efficient, more effective. Clear vision, projects and goals. It's very clear what people need to do. You know, you've been texted to do this, do it. Be accountable. Let me know how it's going. Okay, do the next thing. Do the next thing. People start catching on what's going on. They catch on when they see the fruit of what they're doing. They get excited, and things, the vision becomes clearer. And better decision making in a timely, controlled manner. You know things are coming together or things are being dragged ahead of time. You don't have to do the last minute rush or apologies. I've seen too many of those in my day. things are better understood where things are at. And as a pastor, you can respond to them and not get surprised around the corner. No more email chains chasing people around. No more things slipping through the cracks and being forgotten. No more playing catch up, and no more wasted meetings because people are communicating through the text thing. And so you know where things are at. Why is this important now? There's a lot of balls to juggle, but what is more important organizationally than growing your church? As a pastor, you have a lot to do, but you know, and you probably want to do a lot for growing your church. So if you can do it more effective, more efficiently, less time in planning because we got the pre-built plans, you just need to customize them. Less time chasing people around because they're using the Apple app system, saving you from chasing them around. You can do more and accomplish more. And the longer you wait, the more growth opportunities are lost. And so that's why it's important to look at signing up for Finish Line Planner tonight. You have limited time. As a busy pastor, if you don't do it now, chances are you will not find time to do it later. Is it the right time for the size of your church? We have a church planter, and he's the only person. And he uses Finish Line Planner because it balances his workload. When I prepare my webinars, you know, I do 98% of the work myself, and I keep it all organized in Finish Line Planner. And I know that I only do 2 or 3 things this day, 2 or 3 things the next day, 2 or 3 things the next day. It's easy things to do. And before I know it, in 30 days, I've got a lot of work done, and I'm ready for the webinar, and I'm on top of things, and things will go smoother. So even as a individual, Finish Line Planner will help you balance your workload. And as your church grows, you can start sharing those tasks now with others, with converts and stuff. And as you get bigger and you give more of those tasks out, before you know it, all of those tasks are invested in people in your church. They're growing and they're doing their part and they're being accountable and they're doing it your way, the way you customize the plan. And so it's good as a individual, it's good as a church grows. And if you have a larger church, as we talked about earlier, you get to where each department would have its own Finish Line Planner account. And if your budget's tight, you can save $60 by signing up today, and we can get you that $60 rebate. Risk-free. We'll give you a full refund in 90 days if you're not satisfied. Either if you take advantage of the $60 rebate or you wait for 90 days to pay the $180, we will make it straight with you if you want a full refund and not continue after 90 days. But we pray you do, because the fruit of Finish Line Planner usually takes about a year to see the full fruit and effect of it. Brother Dan Kahn, who did the follow-up program, he had his account over a year before he executed his first plan, because the amount of time he took for him to figure out the steps he wanted to go through. There wasn't a follow-up program in Finish Line Planner, and he built his from scratch. And to figure out how he wanted to do that, and he tested it and stuff, it took him over a year. And now that's bearing fruit for him, and he's seeing the positive impact on the visitors that he wanted to see with that follow-up program. So 90 days gives you a good test ride, but to see the real fruit will go beyond 90 days. It's normal. Thank you so much for being a part of our webinar. If you've not taken advantage, don't let this pass through your fingertips. Sign up for Finish Line Planner. It's only $180 a year. If you sign up tonight, click on that red sign up button. We're giving you your coffee back. We're only costing you 3 cups of coffee a month. This is a giveaway price, and it will help your church to be more consistent and reliable and save time and share the burden off of your shoulders. Finish Line Planner has got a lot that we're doing. We're growing. We're always doing more to help you in your church. So do take care of that button and click on it. We will be wrapping up this webinar on here for those last few. If you would get over there and click on that button before that button disappears, take advantage of that offer. And it's a lifetime savings. So in the next 10 years, you're saving your church $1,800. And if you miss this opportunity, you're costing your church over the next 10 years $1,800. So to take advantage of this offer, come on board, join us at Finish Line Planner, and we will help you organize and help you to be more efficient in reaching the souls in your community. And our growth, we call it church growth, but really what we're more interested in is helping you grow your reach in your community. Okay? Be able to reach more people more efficiently, more effectively, and bring in that harvest. We're not talking about how big your barn is. We're talking about how efficient and how effective you are in the field. Okay? Because we focus on the field. God will take care of the barn. If you need a bigger barn, God will bring you a building. And we're not chasing that. We're not interested in that. We're interested in helping you grow the field and the reach that you have in that field and the quality of the fruit that you bring out of that field. And that's what we do at Finish Line Planner. We do everything to pinch every penny to keep the cost low as possible. And we try to bring on the best people on our team to give you the most possible so that you can do a better job and grow in your church. So we're going to wrap it up. So click on that button. This is your last chance to sign up for Finish Line Planner at the 50% lifetime discount. Thank you and have a good day.
Hello, my name is Hugh Plafford, and welcome to Finish Line Planner, where we help pastors who are undertaking church growth alone. It is my goal to assist pastors and lay leaders like you to optimize your growth potential in an environment of minimal time and staff. 60% of churches in North America operate with less than 100 members. Most of them require a bivocational pastor. Undertaking church growth alone can be challenging, and we're here to help. To maximize our resources and videos, we partner with church growth leaders like Carlton Kuhn, Tim Massengale, Dr. Eugene Wilson, Gary Elias, Dan Kyle, Calvin Jean, and others. To make the most of this opportunity for your ministry, church, and community, click the subscribe button here.